welcome to Dear Pop Culture Podcast. This is the podcast where we talk about pop culture that is dear to us. Today, there's no guest. It's just me, your host, Gina Harms. And it's so good to be here. I'm recording this on New Year's Eve day. So by the time you hear it, it will be 2023. So congratulations on making it to 2023. I can say that because if you're listening, then that's true. I just got really like, oh no, what if the person dies? Starting off on a real positive note, you can see I'm fiddling with my cue cards. I made myself cue cards for the episode today because we're doing a kind of a 2022 year in pop culture review, which is I mean, I'm not going to like list anything or rank anything. If you listen to this podcast, you know my opinion on things, and you know that I don't necessarily pay attention to everything that's going on. Like, this podcast is about pop culture, but its basis is pop culture nostalgia. So and that's on purpose because I don't want to have to keep up with everything because it's exhausting. And also, like, I've always been the person, like, especially with TV shows and like streaming now, it's like there's no way I can watch every single thing. It's impossible. And so anyway, I'm not ranking anything. I'm just gonna like kind of go through the year. So I tried Googling like 2022 pop culture moments, and the lists, like the Entertainment Weeklies, the Vultures, they have all pretty similar lists of what they thought the standout moments were, and I do have some of my own. I started going through my Dear Pop Culture Instagram story because if you follow the Instagram account, I do kind of comment on things going on in pop culture on my story sometimes when I feel like it. So I was kind of going through my Instagram story for the whole year, and I got to about July, and it took a long time, and then I had to leave to come here. So, it's a mishmash of the pop culture highlights. Anyways, where are we at? It is December 31st, 2022. For me personally, this year has been really long. Really long year. I mean, kind of probably for everyone. I mean, it was a previous episode with guest Alan Williams. He talked about a scientific reason that when you're adults, time goes by really fast. But you know that feeling where it goes by fast and slow at the same time? I'm just rambling now. But so anyways, this year, personally, I got knee surgery. I spend a lot of time recovering from that. I'm still recovering from that. But then, did some stand-up comedy, went through a breakup, did a lot of this podcast. I don't know. I never talk about my life really on here. I just cut my own hair. That's something. I just cut my own hair. I was telling a friend this, and he was just like, he complimented my hair. He's like, oh, it looks good. And I was like, thanks. I cut it myself. And he laughed. He's like, no, you didn't. I was like, yeah, I actually did. And he was like, isn't that what girls do when they're going through a breakdown? I was like, yeah. That is typically when women cut their own hair, isn't it? So that's interesting. And I did. I cut my own bangs. I have cut my own bangs once, and I said never again. And I told anyone who ever talked about an idea of doing that, I was like, never cut your own bangs. Never, ever do it. Because when I was 12, I was watching The OC, and Marissa Cooper, played by Misha Barton, had these like kind of like edgy, choppy, kind of wispy bangs. They were like straight across, very, I don't know, blunt. They were kind of weird, but they were just cool. And I was like, I want those. And so I like took kitchen scissors, looked in the mirror, and I looked down. I tilted my head down, and then I looked up, so the angle was off. So I cut them way too short. They were like pretty much less than halfway down from my forehead. And I cried and I cried and I cried. And then I spent the whole, I don't know, next month or so. I don't really remember like the trauma of like going to school with too short of bangs, because I pinned them back and like nobody noticed. So, but the event of like doing it and then crying, I do remember that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I just pinned them. And that was this kind of the style at the time. You would like twist a bit of your hair and like pin it to the side, or you just like take your bangs and then slick them back and then put a bobby pin right here. The poof, that's how the poof was starting. The Snooki poof, it got bigger and bigger. It started small when I was in about grade 8, and then it got bigger and bigger, and then the bump it became a thing. Yeah. So anyways, cut my own bangs recently. You can probably tell. I personally, I think if you looked close at them right now, you'd be like, we could tell. But it's fine. Who cares? It's just hair. We'll grow into it. So shall we get into the 2022 year in review? How about it? I tried to go linear. That's when I was going through my Instagram story, and then it just kind of goes all over the place. So we're going to start with, like, this isn't like a huge thing that happened, but like, remember in January, Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox got engaged. Now that's a couple I actually haven't thought about for probably over 6 months. You know, like they were like in our faces talking about blood and licking each other's faces and just being gross. And then they got engaged, and now I'm like, did they get married? I don't think so. Where have they been? I'm not complaining. I was really over it. I was like, 2021 was the year Megan Fox and MGK and Courtney and Travis and, you know, that whole era. So that was the beginning of 2022. We're kind of seeing that wrap up, and nobody cares anymore. Yeah, Megan Fox as an actress, do I care about her? Less and less. I love Jennifer's Body. I love Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen. I love Holiday in the Sun, the Mary-Kate and Ashley movie that she's in, where she says, I get what I want. And this winter vacay, I want Jordan. It's very good. She's very good in that. You know, she played a mean girl for a while. She had some good roles, and she was funny. She was in whatever, This Is 40. And then I don't know, just people don't respect her. They really just want to talk about how hot she is all the time. But I just like, I don't like her when she's not acting. But like, she's kind of annoying. Sorry. Okay, something else that happened in January. Jason Momoa and Lisa Bonet split up. That hurt. That to me is the hottest couple. Yeah. That's all I have to say about that. Like Jason Momoa and Joe Manganiello, those two guys, no one can deny that they're hot. I was just thinking about Joe because I'm rewatching season 5 of One Tree Hill, and he's in it, and I was like so pleasantly surprised to see him. You know who else is in it that I was horrified and I totally forgot? Kevin Federline. Kevin Federline does like 3 episodes of One Tree Hill season 5, and he plays an asshole really well, actually. Like he's good at his role. It's crazy. Getting off topic. In January of 2022, Rihanna announced her pregnancy. She also had her baby this year, obviously. Just recently posted a TikTok of her little baby, of her talking to it. It was very cute. Very cute. But that pregnancy announcement of her, the pink coat open with the belly hanging out and wearing all those chains, all that jewelry. She looked amazing. And just like the snow surrounding them. And the fact that it was a paparazzi shoot, but it was like a planned paparazzi shoot is like very good. Like, That was perfect. That was a perfect pregnancy announcement. She's like, I'm not taking out, a cover of People magazine. I'm not going to announce it on stage somewhere. But, yeah, great pregnancy announcement. Actually, the Keke Palmer on stage pregnancy announcement just recently on SNL, that was very good too. That for me is a highlight of pop culture this year. Keke Palmer hosting SNL. Well, because she was in Nope, and that's when everyone was like, I don't know, decided to be like, what? She's a good actor? It's like, yeah, she's been good at everything forever. So she had a great year. And I think that she should get an Emmy for her SNL hosting stint, because it was very, very good. The Keenan and Kel sketch was my favorite. I still think about it. Like, I think one of my favorite sketches ever. I don't watch it like all the time, but it's fun. SNL, I know a lot of people don't watch it. I get it. But so another thing that happened in February, well, I'm moving on to February. Okay, this is going all over the place. I'm just not gonna list the month that things happen. Let's talk about Pamela Anderson. So Pam and Tommy came out, and she was like actively against it. She was like, this is about the most embarrassing, horrific time for me in my life, and I think it's fucked up that they made a TV show out of it. In so much words, she said that. So I didn't watch it, kind of because of that. And yeah, I just was like, when it came out, I was like, you know what? Yeah, no, I don't need to see this. So that happened. And then I don't know if it was like around that time or if it was a bit before that. It was maybe when they announced they were making it. I remember Pamela went on Instagram and she posted, "This will be my last post on social media ever." And then she wrote this big thing about it. And then anyways, and then she wasn't around. And then she later this year, she decided to come back on social media to announce, I'm writing a book, which is so funny. And, now she's like back on posting on social media, and she's having kind of a resurgence. She starred as Roxy Hart in Chicago on Broadway this year, which I would have died to go see. And now I see her like kind of around at like the fashion shows again. If you like pay attention to like the fashion weeks, there's always like like there's New York Fashion Week, then Paris Fashion Week, whatever. Like it's funny to note the like it girls, the girls who are at the front row of each show every year, because every year it's a mix of like who's like stars on the rise and a mix of like who used to be really famous that we are bringing back this year. Like Anne Hathaway was kind of one, not that she like used to be famous and is like having a comeback. She kind of never went anywhere, but you know what I mean? Like someone who's been around that we're all of a sudden deciding she's a fashion girl this year. And it's just funny to me how celebrity works. Yeah. So Pamela Anderson is on Broadway. How about that? We could talk about a little bit more about Broadway. The Funny Girl drama. So Beanie Feldstein being cast, getting bad reviews, and then seemingly being pushed out to bring in Leah Michele. And then they didn't even record the cast album until Leah Michele was on it. So the cast album, the original cast album, isn't Beanie Feldstein, it's Leah Michele. Wow. Drama. A lot of my TikTok right now is about like Broadway. It's very Broadway heavy, and like a lot. I like musicals and I like theater, but I don't know that much about it. I don't like I'm seeing clips from all these shows and like they have like hundreds of thousands of views, and it's like, oh my god, this person's a legend. This person who played Wicked, who's your favorite Elphaba from Wicked? And it's like all of these comments, and I'm like, how do people know? How do you know every person who's played Elphaba in Wicked? That show's been on for like 20 years. And have you seen them all? Huh? Riddle me that. I would love to know that much about Broadway, but I'm not rich and living in New York City. I know there's YouTube and some people just pay attention that way, but whatever. The next thing I would like to talk about is the Super Bowl, the 2022 halftime show. Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige, and 50 Cent. It was a great show. I actually watched it this morning. All the Super Bowl halftime shows are on YouTube, just so you know. And they're all about 15 minutes long. It's kind of like the perfect thing to put on while you're like doing the dishes. Or I don't know, doing a puzzle. Like me, I literally have been doing puzzles for the past week, like the last 2 weeks during Christmas, whatever. Vancouver had a big snow ice storm. I didn't leave my house basically at all. I was working from home and I was just doing puzzles. And then I had concerts on YouTube playing in the background. So Super Bowl halftime shows. I also watched Christina Aguilera's Stripped tour. That whole thing's on there because they filmed it for HBO. And then same with a Britney Spears Dream Within a Dream tour, it's called. And I think that was right after the Britney album, so Slave for You, and etc. They filmed that for HBO as well. Anyway, if you ever want to watch full concerts, it's great. But the Super Bowl halftime show, basically all I wanted to say, this should be a top pop culture moment of 2022. 50 Cent entering the Super Bowl halftime show like upside down, but then he's like rapping, but he looks so uncomfortable and his necklace is like hanging down on his face. It's like, it's so funny because I know in the video he's hanging upside down, right? He's doing like the upside down sit-ups. Is there another word for that? Yeah, so like that's how 50 Cent entered our lives. So it was like a great reference, but he's also just like so much bigger now. He just looked so like he didn't want to be upside down. It was really funny. I just watched that over and over again. It's like, leave the acrobatics to Pink, okay? Yeah. Movie wise, the Batman came out, the Batman, like that feels like forever ago. Robert Pattinson Batman, come on. What else movie wise? Don't Worry Darling. I actually really like that movie. The more time has passed, I saw that movie in whenever it came out, September. The more I think about it, I'm like, that movie was really good. I would watch it again. That whole press tour, the Harry Styles spitting on Chris Pine, Olivia Wilde drama with Jason Sudeikis with the salad dressing. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, if that sounds like nonsense to you, it sounds like nonsense to me too. I don't understand it either. Yeah. And Harry Styles and Olivia Wilde broke up after all of that. I thought they had a cool celebrity couple name, Wild Style. Did nobody call them that? I thought it was cool because Wild Style is the name of Elizabeth Banks' character in the Lego movie. She was very cool. She had like black hair with like a pink and blue streak in it. How about the Lego movie? Great film. What else? Pete Davidson announced he was going to space, and then he didn't. Wow, real Lance Bass move of you. It did make me think Pete Davidson, if Armageddon was made today, Pete Davidson could be in it. Because Armageddon, well, if you've never seen it, it's one of my favorite films. You should go watch. But it's like a ragtag group of oil riggers get sent to space to go destroy the meteor that's gonna destroy Earth, because they figure the best way to stop the meteor is to get on it and drill it into pieces. So they get the best oil driller in the business, Bruce Willis, and his group of men. Has a great putting together the team sequence. We love those montages. That's my favorite movie trope, I think. Putting together the team. Anyways, and then there's all of the crazy guys that they provide a lot of the comic relief. So Owen Wilson and Steve Buscemi. Ooh, I think Pete Davidson could do a real Steve Buscemi vibe. His character goes crazy in space. That would actually be pretty good. Pete Davidson kind of looks like Steve Buscemi, right? Has anyone ever said that before? It's just a thought. Who else would be in Armageddon if it was made today? Channing Tatum would be the Ben Affleck character, maybe. Who would play the Bruce Willis character? Who's an action guy that's getting older? Bruce Willis. That's the thing. I'm just remake it with the same cast. Except R.I.P. Michael Clark Duncan. He was in that too. God, I'm going all over the map here. We were talking about Pete Davidson, so let's just segue into Kim and Pete. They broke up, and now he's been seen with a bunch of different women. He's been seen with women. That's just so dumb to say. I just want to talk about Kim K and the Marilyn Monroe dress. That happened this year as well. That's so crazy. She looked good. Now that I look back, I'm her hair was kind of meh. She shouldn't have gone blonde. She did that. She was blonde for that, and then she was blonde for a while after. Every time I saw a picture of her, I was her hair looks so fried. Just wear a wig. It just looked bad to me. Sorry. So the Kardashians, I can't even talk about them. I started watching their show again. Season 2 premiered this year, and I think I watched 3 episodes, and I was this is boring. Because they produce it themselves now, so nothing happens. They don't fight anymore. They don't really go into that depth into their personal lives, because they're just look at our businesses. We're all doing businesses. We all have business. And it's just I don't care. The only relatable storyline was Chris. She got a hip replacement, and I got knee surgery. And I was just yes, learning to walk again is hard. Thank you, Kris Jenner. So that was me. Here's a question. Do you remember what won Best Picture at the Oscars this year? I'll give you a minute. I'll give you a couple seconds. Because I didn't. Coda. I didn't see it. Do you remember what won in 2021? Nomadland? Or was that the year before? I don't have my phone on me, so let me know. Yeah, let's talk about the Oscars for a second. The slap. The slap. That's all I have to say about it. That's my impression of everyone for 3 months. The slap. Then there was do you remember Regina Hall, Wanda Sykes, and Amy Schumer hosted? No one remembers that. They all had their own funny bits, but it wasn't anything. Yeah. Anyways, I talk about the Oscars on this podcast quite a bit because I like award shows. I like award shows except for the Grammys. And Did I say that? But anyways, the Oscars, let's talk about some other stuff that happened. Billie Eilish won an Oscar, which is pretty cool. Academy Award winner Billie Eilish. Love that for her. Kristen Stewart wore shorts. Wow. Ariana DeBose wore pants. Wow. Ariana DeBose won for West Side Story, which super deserved. I love that movie. Kristen Stewart lost for Spencer. And at the time, so she lost to Jessica Chastain, who did The Eyes of Tammy Faye. And I saw both. At the time, I was like, it was a pleasant surprise that Jessica Chastain won. I was like, you know what? Like, she was really good. She deserves it. But like, thinking back, I'm like, no, I think Kristen Stewart was better. So that's my 2 cents. And Will Smith won. I totally forgot he won an Oscar after all of that. That's sad for him. You know, it got overshadowed. Quickly, I just want to add, because West Side Story came out last year, and that was Steven Spielberg. I just saw The Fabelmans in theaters, and it's really good. I really liked it. That's Steven Spielberg's kind of autobiographical story. Not kind of. Apparently, like, pretty much all of that actually happened to him. Like, he names the characters something else. But, yeah, it's like a story about kind of his childhood and getting into filmmaking, but then also about his family. He had a really interesting family life. His mom, played by Michelle Williams, great. Really, really fun movie. And Seth Rogen is in it. I was gonna say in a serious role, but no, he definitely is still kind of Seth Rogen-y. But he's supposed to be, you know? So yeah, go see The Fabelmans. Why not? What else happened this year? Brie Larson joined the Fast and the Furious family. Welcome, Brie. That movie hasn't come out yet. I just remembered the Instagram post. You know, that's a highlight. Top Gun came out. Top Gun. I really enjoyed it. Great movie theater going experience. Miles Teller was great. Glenn Powell, though. We love Glenn Powell. We stan him. If you haven't seen the rom-com on Netflix called Set It Up, it's very cute. Glenn Powell plays the male lead. And anyway, Top Gun came out. Tom Cruise is cool. There's Oscar buzz for Tom Cruise, and I'm like, no. It's a good movie, and he's good in it. I don't know. Like, I guess I have to know who else would be up for Best Actor this year is the question, and it's a question I don't have the answer to. But a Tom Cruise memorable performance, he's good at jumping off stuff, and I love him. I love Tom Cruise. Don't get me wrong. Anyway, Oscar buzz, not sure. Also, like, Best Picture for Top Gun, like, yeah, it was good, I guess. I don't know. Like, it was a fun movie theater going experience, but it wasn't like, you know, I feel like if you're nominated for Best Picture, it should be like you made a contribution to movies that hasn't, you know, like something unique that kind of changed the way we looked at movies. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Very good example. Here's an Oscar take for you. They should go back to 5 Best Picture nominees. I know they changed it so that more movies, like superhero movies, could say, hey, we were nominated for Best Picture, to have that cachet. But how about we don't need that? How about that? Britney Spears got married this year. Okay, not everyone. Some people have asked me about her Instagram lately because it's very all over the place. And I don't know. They asked me because I'm a huge fan of hers. And I follow this Instagram account that's like Britney stans, called Britney's Vault. Shout out. It's like, it's the best account. I look at their stories all the time. It's my favorite account that I follow. And it's like Britney memes. But it's like you get in on the jokes. There's inside jokes. It's like I would show it to somebody and they wouldn't get it. So anyways, Britney's vault is very vocally like, there's nothing wrong with Britney. Everyone just leave her alone. And then when there was like comments open on Britney's Instagram, she turned them off now. But there was comments for a while and there were people being like, what's wrong with her? Is she okay? And Britney's vault would pick a troll of the day and then like air out this person and like post pictures of their Instagram being like, you're ugly bitch. It's awesome. But so I'm like, okay, like this dedicated group of Britney fans, this specific group is very much like, leave her alone, she's fine. And I am like that. I'm like, yeah, let's just leave her alone. What is something wrong with her? Maybe, but let's just leave her alone. Let's just stop talking about it. She's been through enough. But like I'm kind of like, the Instagram posts seem weird. Like, anyways, I won't get too much into it because I don't really have anything to add. I don't think, like, it's just, yeah. But I do like her husband. I think he's good. Some people are like, no, he's in on it. No, I think he's good. But who knows? I could be wrong. That's the whole thing. Let's stop speculating on her life. So enough of that. Ben and J-Lo got married too. I love Bennifer. J-Lo is going through it, like on TikTok. Lately, everyone is piling on everything she does, just for being like cringe, I guess. I'm like, she's a 50-year-old lady. But she's always been that way. She's always been like, my life. But yeah, it's okay. So there was a thing going around the internet that J-Lo is doing a Whitney Houston tribute at the Grammys. And there was this audio clip of J-Lo singing I Will Always Love You very badly, which I actually don't know if the clip is real. It could be, but it's not, because they were like, oh, a leaked rehearsal for her Whitney Houston tribute. It's not, that's not what it was for. If the clip is her, it was just her singing that song. That's not happening, for anyone who doesn't know, because I'm still seeing videos of it. This was like, I feel like a month ago, but I saw a video that was just posted like 2 days ago of someone being like, oh, it was someone being like, oh, I just told my mom about J-Lo doing the Whitney tribute. And I'm like, do people think this is actually happening? Because it's not. It was like a joke. Poor J-Lo. No, she's fine. But anyway, I thought that was funny. And then she had just done like a Vogue 73 questions thing. And it's like, they asked her, who do you think should play you in a movie? And J-Lo goes, she hasn't been born yet. And everyone's just like, making so much fun of her for that. And I don't know why. Like, it doesn't make any sense, but it's funny. I'm like, what are you saying? That we're not going to make a biopic of you for another 40 years? It's just, yeah, J-Lo. But yeah, I stand Bennifer. I think they're perfect. Yeah. To move on. Oh, it was the year of Julia Fox. Sure. Julia Fox started the year dating Kanye West and then became this cultural beacon, for lack of a better word. Uncut Gems. I'm my own muse. I don't remember. But yeah, she was one of those fashion girls who's all of a sudden everywhere. And she's funny. I do like her. So anyway, that's all I have to say about her. I don't really have an opinion. Let me look through my cue cards real quick. Heidi Klum dressed as the Worm. Negroni Spagliato with Prosecco in it. Renaissance. Alien Superstar. Taylor Swift. Best believe I'm still bejeweled. I could still make the whole place shimmer. Kate Bush running up that hill. Stranger Things. The Corn Kid. I do want to comment quickly. The Corn Kid, and then the song. It's corn, a big lump with knobs. Nothing truly goes viral anymore, except that. In this TikTok world, things go viral 10 times a day, probably more, probably 100 times a day. It used to be something got 1 million views on YouTube, and that was a big deal, and then that person would be on Ellen. And now videos get 1 million views, like I said, 20 times a day. So being viral doesn't actually mean anything. But the Corn Kid, that transcended what we call viral, or that should be what we call viral, where it's like everybody, it was like TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, every person had heard of that. And if you're listening to this and you don't know what I'm talking about, you're old. So anyways, let's stop the term viral. You can't use it anymore. It's just non-existent. Except for the Corn Kid. And that's one person this year. That's what I'm talking about. Show me the money. I just start saying movie quotes. Do I have anything else in here? There's a lot of celebrity deaths, so I don't want to list them, because then if I leave someone out, you'll get mad at me, like I'm the Oscars in memoriam. You didn't talk about this person. You didn't talk about Queen Elizabeth. So I'm not going to talk about that. What did I talk about? Funny Girl, Top Gun, Britney's wedding. Jennifer Hudson launched a talk show. Hilary Duff posed nude on the cover of Women's Health. And everyone was like, oh my God, she looks so good. And it's like, she's 35. That's what a 35-year-old looks like. If you are listening to this and not watching, I just gave a very edgy look to the camera. What else did I write on here? Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke Marvel show. I didn't watch it. Heidi Montag eating raw liver. Huge. 10 years of the Hunger Games. What am I talking about? Shaw back? J-Law back. Yeah, J-Law is back. She's back from motherhood. She's a baby, and I'm making movies again. So she has a movie that's coming out soon. I don't know. Yeah, she was at the Hollywood Reporter Roundtable. She was at TIFF. She was at all the festivals. When's that movie coming out? I don't know what it's about. Couldn't tell you. Yeah, but she looks great. She's got long hair, very 70s vibe from her these days. That's all the notes that I wrote down. So, and not Heidi Montag. I already said that. Heidi Montag eating raw liver. I'll just say it again. Heidi Klum dressed as the worm for Halloween. That's the winner. So I'd say my standout moments are Heidi Klum dressed as the worm and 50 Cent hanging upside down. Those are the images. Those bookend, even though they happen in February and October, those bookend 2022 for me. Yeah, I think that's all I got for yous. Christmas just happened, and I watched some Christmas movies. I listened to Christmas music, and now we're to New Year's. I was gonna start talking about New Year's movies, but if you're listening to this, it's already 2023. So go see The Fabelmans. Go see Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery on your couch on Netflix. I haven't watched it yet, but I love Kate Hudson and a lot of other people in the movie. So am I just rambling at this point? Yes. because I got rid of my cue cards and have my brain is mush. So that's when you're like, yeah, end the podcast. Yeah, I'll do that. So happy 2023 to all, and I hope this year brings you joy and contentment and chill vibes. How about that? I hope this year brings you a rainbow and a puppy. Yeah, why not? I hope this year brings you I don't know why I can't stop. I hope you read a book, or if you can't read, I hope you learn to read. Or if you don't want to read, to learn to read, then that's fine too. Just do you, man. Okay, I think that's a great note to end on. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week with a guest, hopefully, maybe. And we love you. Bye.